Hey, it's Patrick Grosser with Fathom Realty. This is your Cincinnati real estate market news for week 34 of 2021. We're going to take a look at this week compared to the same week last year in 2020. And after that, we're going to take a look at 3 strategies you can utilize whether you're buying or selling or doing both here in the Cincinnati real estate market to achieve your goal. Something you can do here as we approach fall and winter, the off season specifically, how you can achieve your goals during that time. First, let's take a look at the numbers here. The new listings are down 10% compared to the same time last year. That's discouraging because we're already in a relatively low inventory market. It's not quite as bad as it was during the peak season in the spring and the summer, but we definitely want to see more new listings coming to market rather than fewer compared to last year. We see closings are down 24%. That reflects overall activity, the number of sales that have happened, the closings. So 24% fewer closings than last year at the same week. So that's discouraging as well. Overall, less activity than we saw last year. I think one of the explanations for the drop in new listings and the number of closings compared to the same time last year is due to the fact that I think many people, buyers and sellers, were on the sidelines during the beginning of the pandemic last year through the spring and the summer. And then as the summer started to wane down and fall was starting to approach like we're at right now, people started to push through their moving needs. They went ahead and got their move done, whether they were buying or selling. So I think we're going to see that trend continue through the off season. There was more activity last year during the off season, fall and winter, than there typically is. And I think because of that, this year is going to be more of a normal year than last year, of course. And so we're actually going to see new listings and closings dropping compared to the same time last year, maybe for the next few months or so. Average sale price is up 15% compared to the same time last year, so that's a really good gain. So your house is worth 15% more than it was last year if all you've done is maintain it. We have seen some weeks, if you've been following, you know as well, some weeks we've seen rises as high as 25% higher sale price compared to the same time last year. So we're certainly still seeing strong growth, but not quite as crazy as it was in the peak season. Average days on market is down 58%. That means the homes are selling. They're going from active or coming soon status to pending status more than twice as fast as they were last year. So although last year at the same time there was more activity, things were moving more slowly. They were taking 26 days to get under contract. Now it's about 11. And in most cases, it's actually less than that if you market your home properly. Inventory right now is at 2.62 months. That is the total inventory, which includes active, coming soon, and pending. Pending meaning under contract, the sellers have accepted an offer, but it hasn't closed yet. What we really want to focus on is how much active and coming soon inventory do we have, which is the actual number of listings that buyers have to choose from to schedule showings and to write offers on. And that's just over 1 month, so about 39% of that 2.62 months equates to just over a month worth of active or coming soon inventory. That's a little bit more, a fraction of a bit more what we've been seeing in the past several weeks. Inventory hasn't really changed that much in the last several weeks. We have seen a reduction in the amount of buyer activity, generally speaking. That doesn't mean that's going to continue, but it seems like from my experience and other colleagues locally and throughout the country, and that we're seeing a trend that things are cooling off as they normally do with the start of the school year, with the fall approaching. So the question becomes, in this off season coming up here, the fall and the winter, what can you do if you're buying or selling or maybe doing both in those circumstances to achieve your real estate goals? So the first thing you can do if you're selling your home is, obviously you know that it's not peak season, so there's fewer buyers out there. That doesn't mean it's a bad time to sell. It just means that you don't have access to the most buyers. On the other hand, you actually have less competition from other sellers. So I still think, generally speaking, if your life situation allows you to move and to sell in the spring and the summer, you're probably going to have the best results that way if you market your home properly. But we don't really know what next spring and summer is going to be like economically, what the market here in Cincinnati is going to be like for real estate. So I think it makes the most sense. We know that, generally speaking, if we zoom out and we don't focus on week to week, we look at over the course of the last few years, how is the market this year? If your life situation dictates that you should make a move and you need to sell in order to do that, it's still a really good time to capitalize on the seller's market. Home values are still at record highs. We still have very high buyer demand, although that's waned a little bit in the last few weeks. Historically, even compared to last year, buyer demand is still way higher. So if you market your home effectively, you do it properly, you don't just do cheap, basic marketing that most agents and most for sale by owner listings do, you can actually still capitalize on the market, sell for top dollar, get great terms like not having to pay for buyer's closing costs, not having to do a bunch of repairs, and then also getting the closing date that you would prefer, that would be most convenient for you. The way we do that for our buyer clients, or our seller clients rather, is through a process we call target marketing. So you can check out what that's about, how that works at patrickgrosser.com/sell. That's an educational video on target marketing, how that works, and why it's more effective for our seller clients than the basic cheap marketing that most agents do, which is just broadcasting the listing to the general public. What we actually do is we look at the specific unique features of your home, and we determine based on demographic research the types of people that match up to those unique features of your home, and we thereby figure out what types of people are going to consider your home to be their dream home. In other words, what type of people would be willing to pay a premium for your home, willing to give you the best terms for your sale because they really have to have your home because it fits their needs perfectly. And so we're able to reach those people regardless of whether they're actively looking on all the home sites, online and offline, through advertising directly to them with your listing. So if you can put yourself in their shoes for a second, think about if you're casually looking or still kind of thinking about making a move, buying a home, but you're not actively searching, but the right home comes right in front of you, whether it's on Facebook or Google or some other social media site, or even in your direct mail, you may take action on that if it's a really perfect fit for you. And that's what we're able to do. In addition to the broadcast general marketing that most agents do, our target marketing approach allows our sellers to get in front of not just everybody who's already searching, regardless of how well their needs match up with the home that they're selling. We actually get our seller clients, their listings, in front of people whose needs perfectly match what their homes offer. So they're able to typically get more money at the closing table and better terms. So if you'd like to at least explore that as an opportunity, learn more about how target marketing works and what it's all about, go ahead and check out the video there. Click the link, patrickgrosser.com/sell. Now, if you're looking to buy right now, in order to make your move, maybe that's the first thing you're trying to do, whether you own a home or not, it's a good time to be looking because we see sometimes in the fall and winter, especially the beginning of the fall, some listings that were on the market in the summer that haven't sold yet. Maybe they were overpriced or not marketed properly, and maybe they need a little bit of work in order to move in. Regardless of the situation, if they've been on the market for a while, the seller is probably getting more and more desperate. Their holding costs are adding up. They want to get rid of the property. They're probably more willing to negotiate price and terms than they would have been in the spring and the summer. We also see that new listings that come to market in the off season sometimes are more willing to negotiate because maybe they have a more urgent need to move. Maybe they have a job relocation, maybe the birth of a child, they need more space, maybe there's a marriage or a divorce situation or something going on, a major life change that prompts a move in the off season rather than when it's more convenient to move during the warmer months when there's more buyers to market to. So as a buyer sitting on the sidelines, at least keeping an eye on the market, you might be able to find a pretty good deal with one of those situations. But like most people, whether you're buying a home or a car or electronics or some major purchase, you want to do a lot of research. You kind of know what you want. You want all the information, but the last thing you want is some salesperson breathing down your neck, tapping you on the shoulder, sending you emails, calling you all the time, asking how things are going, trying to, build some sort of a false relationship. Basically, you know what they're trying to do. They're just trying to sell you something. So that's the last thing you want. So what we offer, if you're in that kind of situation where you're just looking, you're keeping an eye on things, but you're not ready to talk to a salesperson about it, you're not really ready to ask questions or schedule showings, or maybe you just don't want to be bothered. You just want what you want and you need help getting to that end goal, but you don't want to be bothered. So we call that our just looking approach. Go ahead and click the link to learn more about how that works. patrickgrosser.com/justlooking. There's actually a funny story in there how this came about, how we came up with this approach. I think you'll appreciate where it's coming from and the intent with it. But basically, we set up a custom search through the MLS based on your specific criteria, the type of home you're looking for. We send you immediate email updates the moment any listings that match those specific criteria hit the market. So you're the first to know about it, even before, in many cases, before it hits the common sites like Zillow or other sites that you might be searching, whether that's online or with your app on your phone. If it's in a coming soon status in the MLS, you typically won't see that on those sites, and you will see that if we set you up with this MLS search. And the best part, again, is that we're not going to bug you. We're not going to try to convince you to go see a property. We're not going to try to pass you to our lender and get you pre-approved for financing or anything else. We're here and ready for you if you have a question, or if you want to schedule a showing, or if you need help with financing or anything like that, or just general questions. We're here. But we're not going to be peering over your shoulder and trying to twist your arm and convince you to do anything that you don't want to do. You're just looking. That's what you told us in this case with this just looking approach. So check it out. See what you think. It might be a good idea to at least keep an eye on the market. Get something rather than browsing and spending so much time searching for what you're looking for. Why not just get an automatic email update every time something that matches what you're looking for hits the market, even before you could even see it on when you're browsing on those sites. Get it right in your email inbox. Just click it whenever it's there. It's hands off. It's easy, convenient for you, and it's really effective. So that's the just looking approach that we offer. Again, check that out, patrickgrosser.com/justlooking. Now, if you're thinking about buying and selling at the same time, sometimes the most difficult part of it is to figure out what should you do first. Should you buy first? Should you sell first? And depending on which way you go with it, or maybe you're trying to do both at the same time, how does the financing work in each of those scenarios? What are the pros and cons of each approach? We've put together an educational video on that, patrickgrosser.com/bridge. That goes through all of your traditional options, so you can make an informed decision on how you can buy and sell at the same time, and choose the right path that makes the most sense for you personally. There's also a new approach in there called the bridge solution. We have some clients that have used that this year. It's becoming more popular as more people learn about it and how it works. But basically, they were able to sell their home while they're still living in it. Then they were able to rent it back month to month while they were continuing their home search. So not only could they get their mortgage debt erased, they could get cash in their pocket, tap into their equity that way, pay off some debts, trade up to a better loan, put more money down on their next house, which put them in a more competitive position for their offer, more attractive offer for the sellers of their next home. Especially with the competition from buyers, it's important that you position yourself in the best financial position to make an attractive offer to the sellers of your next home. But they were not only able to do that, but they didn't have to move out. They didn't have to move into an apartment or with relatives and then move back in after they buy their house. They were able to stay in their house after they sold it, leasing it back month to month for as long as they need. And then they're taking their time and making a good decision on their next home purchase. They didn't want to rush that. So we have some clients that were able to do that recently. They're thrilled with the results on all angles. The price they got for their home for selling, they didn't have to rent for that long. They found what they were looking for. They went from losing in multiple offers 3 times in a row to actually being able to get their 4th offer accepted because they were able to get the cash they needed to pay off some debts, trade up to a better loan that was more attractive to sellers, put more money down, which gave the sellers even more reason to select their offer in a multiple offer situation. So their offer rose to the top. They got what they wanted. The results were way better than they ever expected. So they're kind of a raving fan of the bridge solution. If you'd like to learn more about how that works, it's a great solution for folks that want to buy first, but maybe they got rejected getting pre-approved for financing to hold their current mortgage and add a new mortgage, because that's what you have to do. Sometimes you can afford that, but the debt to income ratios don't work out the way the banks like. So although you feel like you can do it, the banks say, no, that's not a good idea. We're not going to do that for you. So this is an alternative to that situation. You only have to move once. You can buy first, take your time, and you don't have to move out into an apartment and move back into your new home. So the bridge solution is a really good opportunity. Check that out, patrickgrosser.com/bridge. Now, I hope this information in general is helpful to you. We do a market news report here every single week. So if you like that kind of information, we also do buyer, seller tips and strategies as well, typically on a weekly basis or maybe every other week. So if you're interested in the Cincinnati real estate market, you want to learn more about it, you want to keep in touch with what you can do right now to achieve your real estate goals, go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure that you're getting more information. You're sending that information to the algorithm, regardless of which platform you're watching on. That'll make sure you get more relevant content to you from us. Also, you can follow our Facebook business page and turn on notifications. That's the only way that you can ensure that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, if you like YouTube, you can check out our channel there and subscribe there to make sure you don't miss anything. Patrick Grosser -- Cincinnati Realtor. And by the way, if you have any topic suggestions for us, things you want us to cover that we haven't already, or if you have any questions that you'd like us to answer here in a video format, go ahead and drop those in the comments for us. We'll be happy to address those things for you, get your questions answered, and chances are there's other people in our audience here in our community that actually have the same questions that they need answered. They may want us to cover those same topics, so it actually helps us to get that feedback so we can better educate our audience here as well. I'm Patrick Grosser. Thanks for watching.